How's it going, everybody? This is Rob Novakast back with another podcast for you guys. And kind of last minute, we were going to do some of the It Takes Two, but we were having trouble getting it set up. So we may discuss a couple things or just kind of chill, if anything. Kind of look at what's happened this week and then maybe go from there. But anyway, looks like we got 2 people watching and 1 like. Awesome. So I guess there's to think about it. There's about 2 topics on the top of my head that we can discuss. The things going on Twitch, as well as the social media influencers, and with them euthanizing their dog and then apparently getting backlash from the community itself. So, like I said, there's quite a bit that's happened this week, so we could discuss like 1 or 2 things, if anything at all. What's going on, man?
Not much. It's been a while.
Yep.
All right. Just in case you haven't seen it, Rob.
I did see it. I did see the picture of it.
It's nice and comfy, as expected of this brand. I think it was Gildan.
Nice.
1 second.
So
Gildan.
Which what? Gildan? Okay. I kind of figured. Man. Oh, and by the way, to everybody who are mothers, happy Mother's Day. Hopefully you guys have had a good day.
Oh my goodness. It has been a busy week or 2.
Yeah, it has. And there's a lot of stuff going on.
So, you excited for this coming Wednesday?
What is going on this Wednesday?
It's either Wednesday or Thursday, if I recall. Let me check the calendar. This Thursday.
What's going on this Thursday?
Season 4 for Castlevania.
Oh, sweet.
They've got a teaser trailer and a regular trailer up on Netflix right now.
I think, like I've been doing, I'm going to binge watch it and then save any talks of it for the podcast like we've been doing.
It looks interesting. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I love the line that Sage shared. I watched this trailer before he posted that, but I love that one line. It's like, oh, let me guess, you get they're trying to bring back Dracula. Was it any of you? And then he turns to the one dude that they just killed. Wish I could fucking kill you twice.
Yeah.
Oh, that was gold.
They were, but MJ's currently having internet difficulties with her internet, so.
So,
hey.
So, how have you guys been?
Doing all right.
Bad. Just super stoked about all the different anime-based news that I've learned about in the past week.
I'm right now a little tired, so I apologize. But right now, so I'm very grouchy.
Nah, it's all good, man. Hell, I
That's
need
right.
to sleep. When we don't want to keep you up, you know.
No, I mean it's fine. I do have a little bit more of a relaxed morning, so that's good. Tomorrow, since I have school later.
Well, I don't know how much topics like or any news stuff that we could talk about. I know there was the one thing that happened recently.
Jake Paul.
I don't fucking care. What happened with Jake Paul this time, besides him being a giant douche?
He got beat up by Mayweather and his team.
Oh, the fight actually happened. Okay.
Yeah, because Jake Paul pretty much stole his hat and pretty much like then his group then like Mayweather's
Please-
like I'd say like
Please tell me it was as
beat him up.
please tell me it's as bad as a beatdown as like his big brother being fucking smacked down at the WWE.
Yes, he literally got banished to the Shadow Realm.
I'm gonna say that when somebody showed me that clip and it made my fucking day when Logan Paul got knocked the fuck out at WWE for being a freaking just a massive douche.
Do you guys hear the background noise?
Yeah, I hear it.
Okay, I'll mute myself then until then I talk. But yeah, he got banished to the Shadow Realm as I believe like he had somewhat of a black eye at least after that, and now he's wearing sunglasses in order to cover up that black eye that he got from Mayweather, because actually Mayweather was actually able to get like a shot like right to his face.
Oh, poor baby.
Oh yeah, by the way, he's banned apparently from attending his brother's competition for pulling that stunt.
Well, that's what you get for being a giant douche.
He got banished to the Shadow Realm.
So let me get this straight. Concerning the WWE part, he was playing a heel. He was being a heel type character and got his ass kicked for it.
To be
Concerning the WWE.
I think it's more of like he pretty much got the same treatment as any douchebag would get when they're being an obnoxious prick.
I'll be honest, I definitely don't know exactly what happened like in the WWE kind of thing, since I didn't follow I guess like the story as that was happening. I don't even know when it happened, so I'd say that might be. Sorry?
Yeah, I got a story too, because I just remembered something that somebody shared with me. Somebody who has watched my Canine Aversion videos asked me to discuss this because apparently Canine Aversion also looked at this and tried to make it as if it's, oh, you guys try to make it seem like dogs are heroes and this and that. And like, fuck off, lady.
Some of them are.
So, okay.
Rescue dogs.
So, recently, a couple that are social media influencers lose fans over the situation of them euthanizing their dog. So just to kind of give you the gist of it, recently Nikki Filippi, hopefully I said that name correctly, they had to put their dog down recently.
Ooh.
Due to the dog biting their child. And apparently this didn't this isn't like the first time it's happened. And they decided that due to his aggressive behavior, they decided to euthanize the dog. Now, fans have been kind of open-armed about this whole situation and not very happy. Some were like, asking the questions like, why didn't you just, rehome him? Which I think, if anything, and apparently this dog has been with them for years. So a situation of like trying to rehome the dog would probably be a little bit difficult. All things considered, if they got the dog as a puppy. You know what I mean?
True.
But
yeah, sorry.
One thing that that doesn't help the situation too is some people were mad by some of the comments that apparently the couple made, or at least more particularly the husband made, where he made a comment about it was like Old Yeller, and that he wanted to pick up his dog by the neck and take him in the backyard and put him down. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I don't agree with that statement.
Sorry.
And I was gonna say, if it's like, if you remember Old Yeller had rabies,
Mm-hmm.
and there was no choice in that. But and the way he says it, because so here's I have the comment here. In the moment, I'm thinking, I grew up with the movie Old Yeller. I wanted to pick Bowser, the dog, up by the back of the neck and take him into the backyard and put him down right there. That was the comment he made. People have brought up the fact that, who's going to tell him that Old Yeller the dog had rabies, and there was no other choice but to put him down, and that the kid didn't want to do it. And that was like, that was the end of the movie. It's like the dog had rabies and the kid didn't want to put his own dog down.
Yeah.
So to make a comment like that, it's questionable, to say the least.
It's basically a mercy killing at that point. Like, he's gonna die anyway. That's to at least make sure he at least doesn't suffer, at least at his final moments.
But to some extent, I mean, when it comes down to it, especially with older dogs, because sometimes I will admit this. Sometimes, like when it comes to older dogs, their behavior becomes a little bit more aggressive as time moves on.
Mm-hmm.
But that's to an extent. It's because I know Canine Universal will look at this and like, this just means we can't have dogs. Like, no, it fucking doesn't. Unfortunately, it happens, and it's one of those things. There's like, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen with every single dog.
Yeah, I knew.
Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was just gonna say, because there was this story of apparently this old woman that died. However, her dog looked pretty old and also pretty aggressive. So I don't know. In her will, basically, it was to kill the dog if she died first, and so that way the dog could be buried next to her because she was an aggressive dog. I don't know about that, but I guess I don't know. In some cases, I guess maybe I don't know. Sorry.
That's all right.
In high school, I had a friend who had a rather old dog to where he was getting arthritis in his joints and whatnot. And as the months went on and whatnot, the dog just got mean towards anyone it didn't know. Anyone that hasn't been around since it was a pup. So I completely get it.
I understand too, and like I said, it happens. It's not going to happen to every dog, but it happens.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Yep.
Now, honestly, I think I kind of with this situation though. I mean, it's an iffy situation because if the dog's aggressive, it's accumulated aggressive behavior at its older age. Yeah, I will say that it would be difficult to rehome him, if anything.
Mm-hmm.
Do I completely agree with euthanizing the dog and kind of wish that there was another way to do it? I would want to see if there was any other way, but I don't think there was at this point. And but I don't agree with some of the statements that the group made. I want to say it's an iffy situation with this.
Most likely, it was said in the heat of the moment.
Yeah.
When he was still upset about the dog attacking us.
Yeah, I can see that. Now, because I know this is going to be brought. somehow I feel like this would be brought up. Canine aversion, this does not validate what you continuously try to spew about trying to get rid of dogs. Because anything on this planet, or at least any animal, any individual, any human, for that matter, can become aggressive at any point. I guess at this point, I hate to say it's especially when it comes down because you have this individual who wants to try to ban all dogs, but it's like, look, when it comes down to like animals attacking you or at least trying to train them, it's sort of like this the risk and reward, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where at this point, especially with how, I don't want to say popular, but how how ingrained dogs are now into society, people, a lot of people accept the risks when it comes down to, having to deal and train with dogs.
Mm-hmm.
They do call it man's best friend for a reason.
And so so bottom line, this situation with the dog owned by the two influencers, I will say it's sad, man. I'm sorry that you guys had to put your dogs down, or your dog down. Yeah. We'll say it sucks. Because I know at this point you're going to have a couple of people who are going to just call, people like us, cult leaders or cult followers or some crap, or dog lovers, dog worshippers, for trying to show sympathy towards an animal.
That is one thing I never really understood about canine aversion, because apparently she's vegan, yet she's somehow like themes for like basically the extermination of animals, which is like very contradictory. I don't even understand how someone can even come to that conclusion.
Well, she's been in the past she's been supportive towards people who have continuously embraced or shared the abuse of animals. I mean, it's not a stretch. It's not that far of a stretch.
Wouldn't surprise me if she's then technically not even a veganist. That that's no like. And
well,
no
and another odd thing is like she released a couple of videos, and I'm not going to shit on her completely on this, but it just, to me, it seems some kind of hypocrisy when she releases a video called "My Therapy Birds," and it's 2 videos of hummingbirds. Now, and granted, the 2 videos, I'm gonna compliment her on this for a second, because the 2 videos are short. They have like really nice music, and they have like they show like the hummingbirds flying around the little bird feeder. Honestly, it's a nice video, but at the same time, because you have people who have dogs or cats as like service animals or therapy animals, you can't be shitting on other people for having their own therapy animals when you yourself have your own.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, each person has their own. Each person is different, and each person has their own animal that they go to, or at least like observe or appreciate to have some kind of therapeutic effect.
Yeah.
So you can't be shaming other people for something that they enjoy that you don't.
Especially since I believe, like you've mentioned before, the biggest threat to really any other animal is really just mosquitoes compared to dogs and everything.
Well, and that in humans.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, we hate each other, and we'll find any other reason to fucking kill each other.
The Cold War is literally a good demonstration of that. Where the United States could have almost or in the Soviet Union could have almost destroyed the entire planet by just of course pushing that missile. And if I'm right, there was even a time where
it was almost pushed as like as if I'm right, like a two out of it was 2 out of the 3 that like voted it to like pretty much push the red button. However, the commanding officer decided to like against it, as he trusted his gut and honestly decided against it, which pretty much prevented nuclear war, like a course from happening. This was like during the Cuban Missile Crisis, if I'm right. Sorry to get all like nerdy right now.
Yeah.
I will
Also-
say this much concerning Jane Anna version. It definitely seems that her stance concerning dogs is due to a very, very strong fear of dogs, and I can understand that, but to go so far as to be like nobody should have dogs. Dogs are evil creatures. I can't agree with.
Oh, also, and she made another video today about Mother's Day is not for dog moms or cat moms or pet moms. Honestly, I think I think that's a video. I mean, it's a 2-minute video, but I think that's petty. I really do. Because honestly, me personally, who gives a shit? I try to be, myself, I just try to be, live and let live.
Hmm.
And honestly, you got to understand too, or at least canine aversion should understand. It's like, there are certain people that more likely, one, they probably don't want kids, or 2, cannot have the ability to have kids.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are those people who are genetically, they can't bear children.
Rather that, or they don't have the organs, or like they're infertile in some kind of way.
Well, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
So the second best thing is, having an animal like a dog or a cat or fish, hell, even a bird, to kind of fill that void. So to an extent, this whole there's no such thing as like pet moms or just pet moms in general is really fucking petty. It really is.
Yep.
But anywho,
So what's going on with Twitch now?
oh, I was kind of worried about that one because how I've talked about Zoe Berger in the past.
She's gone for the most part.
I know, but it's just like kind of denouncing titty streamers.
Oh, and of course, like all the streamers that like are pretty much like wearing skimpy or like just in a hot tub to pretty much get views, which somehow Twitch apparently doesn't have an issue with.
So I think I'm gonna say it as it is, because one, even though I have an account on Twitch, I don't fucking use it, because let's face it, Twitch doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. They can't follow their fucking TOS, and they are distracted by boobs.
I think a critical put it best. The thing with Twitch is, of course, like you like as to why like pretty much YouTube is better than Twitch is. YouTube screws everyone equally. However, Twitch has favorites. Like of course, like those kitty streamers, as like you put it, where they of course are exempt from being banned.
So pretty much, they favor anybody that has boobs.
Pretty much.
So
Not a good message.
So without beating around the bush, let's go ahead and get into this. So for those who don't know, Twitch has recently been bombarded by a bunch of women who, I guess, found a loophole in the TOS where they are in inflatable hot tubs, or like the mini pools, like kiddie pools, and are streaming in nothing but bikinis with inflatables. and getting a ton of people to watch them because, hey, fucking tits.
Even though there's better places on the internet to like really look for that kind of content.
But actually, no. Well, you got to realize that would imply that they would actually have to put the effort into, being competitive with the other streamers on those websites.
Yeah.
I know I'm a dick. I honestly, when it comes down to this content, I fucking hate it because it's not. Let's face it, it's lazy
content.
It's lazy content, and especially with other streamers like who are women who are just want to do their own thing and don't want to exploit the obvious show your tits bullshit. It's fucking pathetic.
Like simple as like honestly, if you're gonna go for that line of work, I believe there's another website actually for that line of work. What is it?
Cheddarbait.
Whatever.
Pornhub.
Well, yeah. I mean, you said it, not me.
But again, that would imply that they would actually have to put the effort into competing with some of the other people on the website.
Yeah, that's actually true because like then pretty much just doing that on Twitch, like with that loophole, pretty much just makes them exempt from that. So yeah.
Yeah. So, and a lot of people have been kind of not agreeing with Twitch in what they were doing. In fact, I guess Twitch or a representative of Twitch addressed it, and their only discussion of how to deal with it is, oh, if you don't like it, just don't watch it or put it on off your recommended. Like, no, what are you guys gonna fucking do about actually this content, especially if it's exploitive, if it's sexual? Doesn't that go against your terms of service?
Especially when Twitch has banned people for less.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I can talk about. I'm going to talk about it as is because even though I have an account on Twitch, I don't fucking use it because they can't follow their own TOS.
I'll be honest. Like I do have a Twitch account, and I was planning on like maybe streaming on that Twitch account. I'd say for like the longest time. Yet I haven't like gone through with it just because there is that like of course high possibility of like getting pretty much like getting getting banned, of course, off Twitch for like anything.
No.
Especially since, of course, like one person that like constantly evaded, like of course, like getting banned off Twitch was a validity, despite her like of course doing a lot of stuff. Although I don't know if she still does that stuff anymore.
Look, I mean, last time I checked, especially with how Twitch started, Twitch was a website where they allowed, or at least their main focus was gaming content. You streaming whatever games you were playing. And then, trying to be entertaining for your audience. I mean, sure, like they've expanded it over time, but they're supposed to have some form of terms of service or rules of conduct. This goes against it. Let's be honest. Especially when people, some of these women are given donations to fucking jiggle their tits.
What?
I appreciate it.
I'm fat. I don't think anybody would want to see that.
I'm glad to know there are some people out there that are like, hey, if the shoe's on the other foot, I'd pay.
Yeah. But again, I'm fat. You guys would not want to see that.
Well, I mean, there are maybe some like some crazy. Well, I don't know, crazy. I guess some degenerative people. So I don't know.
Oh, actually, it'd be the really fucked up thing. Get the clip from of Ben Stiller from the end of what was it? Dodgeball.
Oh.
Never.
No audio. Just that.
But like, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of disagree on your stance concerning like concerning like how you feel about such content. Like I'm okay with it being there. Just don't let it overrun the site. And though I will agree with you that there are better sites for such content. I won't deny that.
I think that's the point we're trying to make is like there are better sites for that type of content.
Yeah, and by the way, that content shouldn't even be allowed on Twitch, like, by their own TOS. Yet, of course, Twitch makes the exception for that. Especially when they ban, of course, like, people for much, much less, and those bans don't half the time don't even make sense.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna say this: if you want to do that kind of content where you're shaking your body or being explicit, go right ahead, as long as it's on the right website or the more appropriate website where you're supposed to be doing it. That's what I think. That's above all what we're trying to say.
Yeah, because like honestly, if it continues the way it is, such content will overrun Twitch, and in order to compete, everyone is going to end up doing that, male and female.
Either that, or
and
we're gonna get...
there's going to be a lot of bans going around for it.
Yep, I do. Honestly, I wish
until they just give up.
I do wish Mixer was. Sorry.
I was gonna say either that or streamers are just gonna keep harassing Twitch to finally fucking do something about it.
Mm-hmm.
I do wish Mixer was still around, just because I feel like Mixer at least may have provided some competition with
Microsoft even stated they failed miserably when it came to that, just because they didn't get the it didn't have the audience that was needed. Twitch was too big a thing, and YouTube was somewhat bigger as well.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I definitely don't agree with how Microsoft ran things. Although I feel like when you're trying to compete with other, I guess, companies that have been long established, it'll probably take years of lost profits in order to even keep it running. So I don't even know if technically Twitch even makes any profit. Because
I believe they have stated they understand part of the reason why they failed was because they were interfering with how it's run too much.
Yeah. But I don't know. I guess I just really wish there was some other competitor to basically force it to I guess some better stuff. I guess kind of the better platform.
There probably would never be. I mean, especially for examples where we had other competitors that were towards YouTube, they got shut down immediately.
That's why. Yeah, I mean, Google even tried at one point to get their hands on Twitch before Amazon did.
Mm-hmm.
Though I have a feeling it probably would have been worse if Google got a hold of it.
If I'm right, there's a reason why even YouTube doesn't even have a lot of competition. And part of that has to do with the fact that they're bought that they have a financial backing. Of course, that being bought by Google. Which, of course, any other competitor doesn't really have that advantage. Which means, I guess, massive loss of profits or, I don't know, some other shady ads that maybe might also pop up.
I'm actually a little surprised that Amazon has not put their foot down.
Now, and I'm going to say this too, and just so that it doesn't seem like we're just targeting Twitch. I mean, YouTube, unfortunately, does the same thing at times.
As well.
It's when it comes to content.
As while Amazon is mostly there as basically just an umbrella to protect Twitch, there comes a point where sometimes the umbrella has to be like, hey, we can't keep protecting you if you keep this up. Do something.
Literally.
Yeah, because the next thing, I wouldn't be surprised if the next thing you know, people start going to Amazon, being like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Or why are you guys letting Twitch just let this type of content go rampant? And Twitch will probably, either they're gonna not give a fuck or be like, hey, what are you guys doing?
Mm-hmm.
One of two ways I see that going.
Yeah. Which, sadly.
Yeah, check out our OnlyFans. I'm kidding.
Check out our OnlyFans. I started when I was
I'm
14.
joking, by the way.
Oh,
My
God.
goodness.
Never mind.
Oh, jeez.
Sorry. I kind of shot that one in the foot, didn't I?
No, I did. I did.
Did we talk about? I don't think we did because the last couple of weeks. Briefly, there was that whole thing with apparently Playmates SE going on Dr. Phil.
We talked about that at length.
Did we talk
Yeah.
about the interview between Tipster and the dad?
No, because that came out last week, I believe.
Okay.
Mhm.
I think
Either last week or the week before when
I don't know.
we
I
couldn't
don't
really
remember.
do the podcast.
I don't remember if I talked about it with MJ while we were playing the game, but I think if anything, we could talk about it briefly, because I'm gonna be honest. Like watch when we were watching those clips, I kind of felt like they were pushing the narrative of the dad being the one in the wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, and it turns out that was the case, considering apparently
He was blindsided by it.
Oh yeah, he was blindsided, and apparently the letter or note or message that was sent by the ex-wife, she asked to have that retracted, and they're like, "Oh no, you signed a liability, and this and that." Like,
You signed the agreement.
You signed the agreement for us to use it, and I'm like, well, if it goes against what she is saying, like, wouldn't that mean that you guys shouldn't be using it? And it goes against what she is saying at this point.
Yep. Only way that they couldn't that they could get away with such a thing if there was actions taken against it. Would be as if there was something in the agreement that was written up.
I'm not gonna lie, like looking at that, because one thing that they definitely don't focus on, or at least discuss at all, is the mental health situation, like anything involving mental health in that.
Yeah.
And I think I agree, because the dad made a statement that, when it comes down to mental health, it's like we talk about how it's a big problem, but we don't actually discuss it. And it's like, yeah, that's actually, I mean, with every shooting, that's apparent. Nobody wants to fucking talk about the mental health.
I'm not gonna lie. That one video that they used of her of a much younger her not wanting to be hugged.
Yeah.
I will say this much: kids, autistic or not, they can become I forgot the word. Dadgun it.
Bratty.
No. Whenever you end up taking on too much information or
Overstimulated.
Thank you. They can become overstimulated with certain emotions or feelings or what have you, and they're like, no. So there are times like that, but I will say this much: it's honestly those looking down on him for recording that. Parents can't help but want to record their kids. That way, their kids have something to look back on.
Yeah.
And maybe also as a means to embarrass them whenever they have a boyfriend or girlfriend over.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, we lost Rob.
Who's in charge now? Aden's in charge now. Taking the lead. I'm gonna keep my camera off.
All right. Oh man, I wonder what happened.
I think he probably lost connection. That or I don't know, maybe some kind of wild blackout or something happened.
Oh, I hope not.
Yeah, I'm just saying that's probably the worst it'll get.
But yeah, that video, she definitely seemed to be just overly overstimulated, and is just she couldn't figure out how to properly word what she was feeling or the reason why.
Yeah, I do wonder exactly. Like, I don't know what caused her to be that way. I mean, I don't. Maybe of course that might be. So of course, just when she was born, might have had like I don't know some been defective. I guess because to some degree, I don't know if she is psychopathic in some kind of sense. Although I know
I
apparently
doubt
she did
that.
need. I mean, because she, not to say, I mean, because there was some meds apparently that she decided to just stop taking because apparently they would make her gain weight, at least according to the father, at least in one of the videos he made, in response to like the situation with Playmate Tessie. And if I'm right, she basically just decided to like just stop even like going like taking medication or anything like that for the I guess issues she had, which I don't even know, which makes me just wonder, I guess, like what kind of issues she did have mentally, like if they were like something that was caused by her environment, or if it was just something that she
And
was born with.
yeah, and who's to say that these weren't like incorrect diagnoses? There's no telling.
Yeah, like
Because I
honestly,
was I was diagnosed with ADD or ADHD back when I was a kid, and that was back before autism was really known per se.
yeah. If anything, I mean, not gonna bring this up too much. Might have to. I was gonna say I don't know. It has to do with I'd say just I guess like pretty much any Hispanic or something like that. Like they practically don't know about like seem to know much about like of course like issues mentally, like of course whether it be like ADHD or like that. The only thing, especially with my mom, since it's possible I may have or like still have ADHD even like up till now, since I like as a kid I kind of did show at least like some like kind of symptoms, like at
All
least.
right, Rob.
All right, hope you come back, since I was like always very hyperactive as a kid, and like always like my always like thoughts were racing through my mind, and like of course like like couldn't sit still.
It's like you're a kid. It's like you were a kid. Kids are like that.
Except it was like to a much greater degree, more so than even any of my other relatives.
Ah,
If anything, like because if you ask me anything about like what I learned in elementary school, I would practically say probably close to zero, since I remember close to nothing about like elementary school aside from math.
and honestly, if she's able to overcome whatever issues that she needed the medication for, if she needed the medication, more power to her.
Yeah. But I will say, like with with a lot of the things that she's done, is honestly just very despicable. Like the cancer patient, like honestly, the fact that she can't even take even 1 ounce of accountability, despite how old is she? Like what, like a year or something older than me?
I want to say she's 18, 19. I could be wrong on that.
Ah, damn it.
But like, sure, the video where she was mocking that cancer patient, sure, it was titled that she was being a troll, basically, in the title of
Yeah.
that video. But still, that's not cool. And I honestly think that, as I stated before when we talked about her in the previous podcast, I really think that she would be better off doing a lot of like and once again I'm drawing a blank on the term.
Staying
I
off the
guess,
internet?
for lack of a better term, soul searching, like finding out like
Sorry.
I guess meditating on or thinking hard on the reason why people are upset by these actions and going about bettering herself, trying not to do such things.
Reflecting, basically.
Yes, that's the one. Self-reflection.
Self-reflection, yeah. Oh my god.
Thank you.
But yeah, I will say like there's a certain amount of responsibility that comes with the fact that I mean she's like, well, as far as I remember, she's an adult, so like she should at least be able to like to make some decent decisions. But like I honestly, this is me personally, but I feel like the whole thing with her saying she was just trolling is honestly just such BS and really an only just way to really get out of like even taking some amount of accountability, which I practically hate. That's why I'm not
like if she can get away with such actions by saying she was trolling, yes, it was stated in the title of that video as not just a means of protection from any like responsibility, but also as a means to show that she wasn't really serious, perhaps. But it's still. And Nikki.
Hey, Nikki.
But
I honestly don't like her.
Being an adult and being somewhat famous doesn't mean you can get away with that. And if she was able to, if doing that was a means to get away with such things, then the people who messed up the EDP investigation with their videos and whatnot could get away with with everything they've stated because they were being trolls.
Yeah. Honestly, speaking of which, I'm honestly pretty pissed at the fact that, like, pretty much EDP got to walk away pretty much scot-free. I will say, I will definitely apologize for, of course, like, my comment of that, like, of course, with like, I don't know what's even the guy's name of, the guy that runs the Chet Goldstein channel, apparently, because I believe I comment, like, MJ brought up the fact that, like, he brought like a pedophile, like basically he said we won't call law enforcement if we could beat you up for I don't know how long. And I made a comment that like it was pretty funny, which I'll say it was inappropriate, but like now I see like definitely in the long term that practically isn't gonna help since it's like what you said, that would
welcome back.
At the end of now he could just walk free now. Based on what he does.
Welcome back, Rob.
Welcome back, Rob, our supreme leader.
Oh God.
Oh, what happened?
Oh, what he said. That was. Oh shit.
There was another topic, but I can't remember what it was. Talked about the dog thing.
Talked about Playmate Tessie a little bit.
That's right.
You could definitely give your thoughts on, like, I don't know, on Playmate Tessie since you were gone for a while.
Well, I think when it came to that whole Dr. Phil thing, I think I said it best. I feel like it wasn't being honest. I feel like there was an agenda there. And if I were to give my opinion, it makes me wonder if Dr. Phil is actually good at whatever the fuck he's supposed to be good at.
I honestly wonder whether or not he knew the actual
story,
what the research actually was entailing and all that stuff, or whether or not he was just going based on what his producers were having him say.
Oh my gosh, I actually it's kind of like that South Park episode where Jesus has his own television show, and it was like from around season 1 or 2 where Jesus has his own television show, and then Stan Stan's uncle, Jim Bob, or whatever his name is, the guy that loves guns, has his own television show too, and they're getting more ratings than Jesus. So
Oof.
the producer is trying to get Jesus to do a lot of outlandish things in order to get his show to show high ratings.
I remember that one now. Yeah.
And the whole and by the end of it, it's them like making up a fake fight in order for Jesus to get more views.
Oh yeah. I honestly like.
Go ahead.
That came to mind whenever the whole YouTube boxing thing started up.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I was gonna say basically.
Nikki said EDP is going to get caught somehow, some way, and she also said Dr. Phil knew something was going on, in her humble opinion.
Oh, actually, that is something we could talk about too.
EDP.
EDP. He posted. I guess he's making a website, and he posted a video talking all big and bad. Okay, I'm gonna shit on this guy for a second.
Jack Goldstein.
Because I think I said it best on Discord. Because I said something like, the only thoughts that come to mind when I see this fucking video from EDP is, dude, it like you act all big and bad now, but in the video where you're being confronted by predator poachers, you're crying like a baby back bitch, begging them not to call the cops. Okay, yeah, this is what I wrote. I wrote, okay, saw this video, and my thoughts on what he says is literally, it's funny how this guy acts all big and bad in this video, but when he was caught being a pedophile trying to creep on a 13-year-old, he was crying crocodile tears like a baby back bitch, while predator poachers caught him and claimed they were calling the fucking cops.
I'm gonna be going to jail.
I'm gonna be going to jail. And then the next video, like, oh, you guys can't touch me. Like, oh no, they already. I mean, clearly they did touch you. To the point where it's like, dude, you almost got caught, you stupid son of a bitch.
And by the way, that was not meant to be an inappropriate joke.
Which one?
You can't touch me.
No.
It's just they've got to completely restart the investigation from scratch now, because
and that's the unfortunate fact. Well, it's like, well, I mean, there's probably other things that they could probably get them on too.
Maybe.
Because, I mean, if anything, they probably, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they're still doing the investigation, but at this time, because of that whole situation, it's being pushed back.
They're having to, I wouldn't doubt it if they're having to restart from scratch, because due to those predator poachers, as they called themselves, making that video and whatnot, the defense could easily spin any and all evidence they currently have, being like, no.
This
was all entrapment.
Yeah. I think one of the guys from Tipster's stream said it best. It's like, it's very hard to get people on this. And it's even easier for a good lawyer to, call and just claim it's entrapment. I mean, hell, Chris Hansen fucking, when it comes down to some, I mean, if you really think about it, like, in recent events, Chris Hansen tried to get Onision to go to jail. And did that work for him? No, it didn't.
Yep, since technically Onision, was too much of a careful son of a gun in order to, not really get caught with that.
Well, it's like the unfortunate, I'm gonna say this, unfortunately, Onision knows his shit when it comes to the laws. And that's how he got away with it.
Agreed, Nick. Agreed, Nikki. She said, yes, from scratch, but it'll mess up, no problem. We just gotta wait for him to let down his guard again.
I mean, with how big of an ego he tried to show us. I mean, how easy it was for a couple of fuck ups to get him to show his true colors. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he fucks up again.
Mm-hmm.
Considering that, like, at least, like, pretty much most of social media at this point knows, I'd say he's bound to screw up, like, of course, like, some time. It's pretty much at this point, like, the information is out there at this point. So
for real though, those
could be in the near future.
For real though, the people from Predator Poachers were a bunch of jackasses.
Yeah, actually, speaking of which, I'd say probably the biggest concern to EDPs is probably like making sure at least the people like online don't find them in real life. Because I can see that.
Well, even that, and it's like, dude, it's funny that this guy claims, "Oh, I still got fans, I still got people who support." Like, who's gonna support you, dude? He's like, "Oh, I got." Like, they didn't hit me. Like, dude, your fucking YouTube channel is gone. Who the fuck's gonna watch you at this point? Especially since there's video of you creeping on a fucking 13-year-old.
At least it was.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or had the intention of creeping on a 13-year-old.
Creeper. Anyways, oh god, I was gonna say something, although I forgot. My mind blanked out.
Oh, by the way, actually, you know what? Since we're onto this, since we're talking about Predator Poachers, fuck that fucking idiot that was on Tipster's stream that was trying to justify Predator Poachers and how they were conducting the whole investigation.
Oh, I didn't watch that.
Oh yeah, because he's trying to make it like, because the main like argument that Tipster was trying to make was like, if it doesn't work or if it's gonna affect the game, the investigation, you should be doing things differently. But the dude was his whole thing is like he has his head so far up fucking Predator Poacher's ass. He's all like, oh no, all the things they are doing are justified because they were catching a predator. I'm like, no, it doesn't.
No, they weren't doing it to just catch a predator. They were doing it for the fucking views.
It's like that's what that fucking reject didn't fucking understand.
And for their own entertainment, they don't care. It honestly came across that they didn't care whether or not they were entertaining others. They were just entertaining themselves.
And the thing that made it worse is like some people were like defending the whole. Oh well, I guess the ultimatum that they were giving the Predators, like, would you rather us send you to jail or would you let us box you and beat you up? It's like, wouldn't it be better to have them sent to jail? I mean, that would make more sense, right?
Yep.
I mean, let's face it. People who will creep on freaking kids are not going to be having a fun time in jail.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's why. Honestly, if people are going to continue doing this kind of thing, they need to work with the authorities
properly.
And if the authorities say don't do this, don't fucking do it.
Yeah, but these jackoffs thought, I'm just gonna do whatever the fuck I want. Like, okay, well, you guys fucked up an investigation. Thank you, fuckwits.
This might be reaching, but I'd say the guy like Chet Goldstein might be a potential predator, just because there was like one video clip of him, like apparently where he asked some minor creepily like for some nudes in order for him to be under, like, of course, the guise of him, like, oh, he'll use it, of course, like as like basically undercover in order to catch a predator, which I'm like, dude,
which he has apparently done.
He actually like got nudes from a minor, like to basically like under the guise of like
foreign entrapment. Yeah,
dude.
Since we're on this topic, should we?
He's even used his own from when he was in high school.
Well, yeah,
he's used his Disney of kids. because he's using the images of his kids for some, or putting kids in the same room of some of these predators.
Dude, what the?
I think that was one of the things too. It's like, no, don't. That's, I mean, especially in situations dealing with, predators like that, you shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah. Also, by the way, I guess like I will say like I honestly wouldn't mind if him using your horse, whatever, his own photo, whatever, because that's not hurting anyone. But the fact that he got pics from a minor is what boggles my mind.
Yeah, that's
Like,
really fucking.
Do you not have any like? Do you not have a conscience? Jesus.
You know what?
Considering some of the things he said in the videos not related to that series,
yeah,
I don't doubt it.
Since we're kind of talking about this, should we talk about the allegations towards Jake Paul?
Oh yeah, the rape allegations. Yeah, I was planning
Or
on like talking
sexual,
about that last.
quote unquote, alleged sexual assault.
I'll be honest, I don't believe her.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, I'm gonna say it, and some people are gonna be surprised because some people want to think that I have a hate boner for Jake and Logan Paul.
I mean, you do, but
regardless of that, yeah, I do think that they're fucking scum and piece of shit. But I'm gonna say it as it is. As much as I think that they're pieces of shit, I do believe in the innocent before proven guilty. Which I know when it comes down to it, I know some people would probably think I was going to say, "Oh no, he did it." No, I believe in innocent before proven guilty.
yeah.
I will say this: when it came to the first allegations, Keemstar was a fucking idiot. Because you know what I'm talking about, right?
You could just turn your head away, or like
yeah, because she was talking about how Jake Paul, or at least the first person that was expressing allegations, said that Jake Paul forced oral sex, and it's like, and he's like, "Oh, why didn't you just turn your head?" Like, that doesn't make any sense. How that's possible? I'm like, are you a fucking idiot?
What?
It's like Keemstar, do you not know what fucking sexual assault is? It's forced sexual intercourse, you fucking idiot. That means if in that regard, I mean, by forcing the person to, because she was claiming that he forced, that Jake Paul forced a fucking
his dong down her throat.
Yeah. It's like, dude, you realize that by the implication of him grabbing her head and then having her freaking, do the deed, that is implied, sexual assault.
I will say
that's somebody forcing an individual to, have oral sex. You fucking moron.
By the way, someone made a good timeline about this on Twitter. Apparently this was during around the dates that I don't know her name. Apparently, said that this happened. Jake Paul, if I'm right, was with Tana the whole day. But around the time, of course, the alleged assault, sexual assault happened.
Yeah.
So Jake Paul was pretty much in a different area and was with Tana for most of the day.
So sorry. I love Nikki's thing. Keemstar is always an idiot. No time off, or no off time for him.
Yeah.
So honestly, if it happened, props to her for coming out, but she needed to take this to the authorities so that it can be properly dealt with. And if it did happen, then they need to find a way to prove that his alibi is false.
Yeah.
Yep. Because at least by some people's at least how some people have demonstrated he was with Tana like the entire day around the time the alleged sexual assault happened, and
Because
sorry.
Yeah, because let's face it, because this is why I mean, when it comes down to it, we have to follow the judicial system of proving that it actually happened.
Mhm.
Whether or not it happened, there has to be proof and a genuine fact, or at least, you know, general proof that it happened. Otherwise, if we just go by hearsay, then again, as much of a fucking piece of shit he is, that I mean, something like that is it destroys people's careers.
Yep.
By allegations like that. We've had a variety of different voice actors, gamers, and variety of other people whose careers are literally and utterly destroyed.
Toby
because
Turner.
Big Manana.
Toby Turner.
Oh, no, he isn't fully destroyed, but still. Who?
I mean, he did get some
Toby
revenge
Turner.
on that. Johnny Depp.
Toby Turner was a gamer, like I don't know. He did some gaming, but I don't know too much about him aside from like.
Actually, since we're talking about that too, the voice actor for Call of Duty.
Yeah, that is recent.
That we could talk about that too.
Mhm.
Oh,
So,
you
yeah.
were talking about Tabuscus. Okay.
So yeah, I mean, above all, even though we don't like the individual, it has to be innocent before proven guilty.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And we just can't go by hearsay.
Even without
Not
this,
just that, but honestly, when it comes to the judicial system, it needs to go back to being completely unbiased.
Yeah,
yep. Even
because
with
people don't understand too that women commit the acts as well.
definitely.
In fact, I think there was something recent on the news about a woman who forced sexual intercourse with a man. I just can't remember what it was.
Yeah. I take back part of what I said. It can never be completely unbiased, but you know what I mean.
Well, I'll be right back.
Okay.
Oh, it's dogs. But yeah, I was gonna say, I practically don't feel like, even if of course the alibi, of course, wasn't someone didn't of course like make a whole timeline of the alibi. I feel like I wouldn't believe her, just because for one, I mean, as I even like talked about this on Discord, you go to the authorities first if of course such allegations are true. Why are you coming out online in order to like instead of like going to the proper authorities first?
Sometimes the authorities won't listen. I will admit that much.
I say that's fair. Like if the authorities won't listen, although, but Jesus, like because from right, authorities will like of course. I don't know if like again because I don't have much experience I guess with the authorities, but like at least some kind of report or something like that you would like of course at least submitted some kind of police report or at least spoke with police officers, because if I'm right they'll at least like take down at least like some of the information you give them when you like speak to officers or when you report it. Also, but the fact that you decided to come out about it online, which already like puts me already like pretty much like just leaves a sour taste in my mouth, because honestly this is something that of course should be handled of course like within like the judicial system, because like I believe some people have like mentioned, because otherwise like if it because for one like there's not much proof, and by the way if this turns out to be false this also ends up ruining the credibility of any other rape victims that end up coming out. Like of course like saying because of people like I'd say like that like of course make up false reports in order to just for the sole purpose of just ruining people's careers. And I really did. It's honestly just freaking sad.
Okay, I did quickly deal something.
No, it's all good, man.
It's good.
But
You got some dogs.
But yeah, it's I mean, when it comes down to it, again, innocent before proven guilty.
I'm personally, like I said, I personally don't believe her. Since again, you go to the proper authorities with this instead of like I say coming out on social media, because at that point that just seems like more like just you're willing to just like.
If I may too, because especially since you bring that up, it's at this point now it's more questionable. At least half the time, it's questionable when you just go to social media and not the authorities.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it seems like with almost every single time, it's been more of like, and believe me when I say we're not trying to shit on people who've had
no other choice,
or at least have had to deal with sexual assault. But it's, especially with like the bigger influencers, it seems like that there's some kind of motive to doing it that way, or at least
sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say someone brought up that like of course like given the fact that like this is just coming out around from right like pretty close to the fight, like if that was gonna happen, like there's already a lot of suspicion, like of course we're like there's like already so much attention on Jake Paul and like practically just doing this like while he's like in the public's eye, like to a massive degree. So yeah, it's a like why come out now, even if I'd say like again if there even is some like of course credence to this, when pretty much like he's already like gotten this much attention, like now instead of course like I don't know maybe like,
when it actually happened.
Yeah, or like maybe months, or maybe even a couple of months ago before like right now Jake Paul's at the height of like the public eye.
Who was it that we recently talked about that also had one levied against them, but the person who made the posts were like, sorry that we were wrong?
I don't know.
Don't remember who that was.
I don't know. Was I there for that?
There's another thing Tipster definitely talked about, so
let me see. I got his channel up right now.
I don't know much about Tipster, like, or really, I'd say, because I haven't really seen a lot of his videos. Actually, I don't even think I've seen any one of his videos.
He does a pretty good job.
Let's see if I can bring up his channel right now. Because I've been doing like some homework, I'd say, like as we talk.
Yeah.
I'm looking up his channel now.
It was against Dan Avedon. Or Danny Sexbang, as he goes by in his music group.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because there's a person claiming, although I was like listening to some of the records, or at least some of the screenshots, or reading some of the screenshots and listening to that, it just seemed like somebody who was upset that it was like a one night thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
They apologized and took it down.
Yeah.
So.
I'm going to say there's a lot of stuff. I mean, heck, if anything, we could also talk about the Soulja Boy console.
Which one?
the most recent, the most recent bootleg piece of shit product that fucking.
It's a bootleg of the freaking
little handheld
Retron. Oh, you're talking about that one. Gotcha.
It's the little handheld. Yeah, and it's nothing new. I mean, looking at it, it's the same product, only spray painted with Soulja Boy branding on fucking the casing.
At this point, he's better off just making freaking decals and skins for the consoles instead of trying to rip the consoles up himself.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I made the console. Like, no, you fucking did it, you fucking little sleaze.
He'd make more money, and he wouldn't risk getting sued.
Well, that, and also he wouldn't look like a complete jackass. I'm sure he made good music back in the day, but I'm just gonna say, just hearing what he said in a rant where a dude was reviewing his recent console, also mentioning the fact that he almost got sued by fucking Nintendo.
Actually, yeah, this is actually making me kind of want to do a little bit of research to see whether or not these each of these freaking moments where he's ripping off another console or handheld or what have you, whether or not his music sales go up
Who
during
knows?
these times.
Yeah, there's been a lot of stuff.
Because that's what it seems. It kind of comes across that that's the reason for him doing this. Is it means to put himself back in the spotlight, hoping to make more sales.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's definitely been a lot of. Oh, sorry.
That's his theory, speculation.
Yeah.
I'm
So,
trying to look up his channel.
yeah, there's definitely been a lot of stuff that's happened. Like, say, like for I could say past like week or so. I know like there was this whole like hit. I guess say what you will, like a hit piece that was made towards Mr. Beast, which was basically an article.
Oh,
that,
I saw
Oh.
that. Yeah.
You're talking about the whole thing concerning Mr. Beast, whatever the kid's name was that was is a big streamer because of him, and
basically like saying like it's basically
Okay.
I'm reading some old allegations of saying that Mr. Beast like was like difficult to work with, or like I don't know, was in some way I guess like a dong when like working with them when he was working for Mr. Beast, despite like of course like him before that like claiming it was like a dream job to work for Mr. Beast. Like he was one of the sources that like this I forgot what you call it, journalist used for like of course
And
like I would say
it's the same fuck nugget that that took part in the Onision documentary.
oh,
well that's the same person.
Yep. The journalist for that made that hit piece is the
Jesus.
same fuck knuckle that that took part in the Onision documentary.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't trust journalism anymore.
Well, yeah, because at this
They're
point, like,
nothing but no. I mean, at this point, if it's not hit piece, it's dishonest as all fuck. When it comes to especially when it comes to products that are being
because at
reviewed.
the end of the day, they gotta eat.
Gotta eat and stay employed.
Yep.
Besides the whole hit piece, there was also something about zombie kills.
Who?
I guess there was some stuff brought up about how like there's certain people who have brought up the fact that zombie kills is not the victim that she tries to claim herself to be.
Never heard of her.
This is an individual who was tried to use the death of an individual who on her race to try to shame Sony to giving her a console.
Oh my god.
Either it was Sony or Microsoft. And then when somebody who was autistic, I think it was autistic, somebody who was autistic tried to defend her, she kind of did a 180 and tried to shame him and then tried to ask for reparations or whatever the fuck it's called.
What the fuck?
Sending him a receipt invoice for 2,000. Was it 2,000? I think it was $2,000. It's like, okay, that where do you get off trying to claim that the dude owes you $2,000 for just making a fucking video?
Some people.
But yeah, there were some people. But anyways, going further, because this has been something that's been discussed, especially with Tipster, and apparently this person Zombie Kills has tried to attack Tipster for some of his opinions on her. People who've supported this individual have gone out and actually said that she is not the victim that she claims herself out to be.
Damn.
Yeah. Because she tries to play it off as she's the victim and that she's the one that's being accosted, that she is a poor creator of color, and even though she's kind of screwed over other creators who are black. So that's pretty fucked up. But we got that going on.
Yeah, it just brings to mind that guy that constantly tries to get money by suing big name companies
Yeah.
like Blizzard, saying, "You owe me money because I pissed and shat myself while playing one of your games."
Yeah, that's not how that works.
Right.
We got Ethan from H3H3
Oh,
who
yeah.
apparently might
Yeah,
get sued by Trill for pirating. He even says on stream that he fucking pirated the fucking fight. What a fucking idiot. This is why I'm gonna be honest. This is why I don't watch creators like Keemstar or H3H3 because they say stupid shit and they think they're the pinnacle of fucking news.
I will say, I think because of the fact that like people would normally call him intelligent, I feel like that's all gone to his head because he was once known as the intelligent one, but
Clearly not.
Yep, because I will say like like why would you admit to like torrenting a specific thing like that was like so public, like because pretty much I honestly don't know if like there really is a way for him to even like get out of this because he was on camera admitting that he like torrented the fight, pirated the fight.
If he gets away with this, I will be surprised.
Yeah, I will try to do a backflip at the top.
Watch as Keemstar throws a fit about it.
Don't do that. You'll injure yourself.
Yeah, that's why I said I actually won't do that.
Like I said, watch as Keemstar throws a like freaking hissy fit about this, about him like actually beating it or beating
Keemstar's such a dog. Like, cause I don't know what like. I don't know if
it wasn't Keemstar who did it. It was H3H3.
I know, but like I said, watch his.
Oh, they're settling out of court with him. Okay.
Okay.
Thank
you for that, Nikki.
So he's not getting. I mean, he's not getting away with it, but they're settling on it.
Yeah.
I was gonna say for a second, watch his fucking. I watch his Keemstar's head rolled. I think that would have been fucking hilarious. The full like nuclear like tantrum that came from Keemstar H3H3 trying to fight it and won. Ethan's ego Ethan sucks his ego while be the death
of him.
Yep.
I feel like that's honestly true.
Agreed. It'll be the death of a lot of people.
Yep.
To an extent, I like being a smaller channel because I could just, upload whatever the fuck I want, and not really care what people think. Heck, dude, I got several games I'm still trying to record, and I just started recording Resident Evil 8, which, by the way, for those who are still watching the stream, look forward to my Let's Plays later this week. I'm not going to be like everybody else that uploads it like immediately when the game comes out. I'll be uploading it like probably in the next couple of days.
Shameless plug.
Plug. But hey, I mean, I don't do it often, so
yeah, it really doesn't.
I know, but either way, like, who cares? I honestly don't.
But I'm going to say this: the Duke is probably my favorite character right now. There's a line he says like periodically through the game where he's like, "What are you buying?" And he goes, "I'm sorry, that was something that a friend of mine used to say." I'm like, oh shit. That's a good reference.
It's a good reference and nice reference to the fact that they are currently trying to remake 4.
Oh, so apparently I'm looking forward to it because apparently somebody makes a joke about Chris and him punching boulders.
Huh. Right on. I mean, Revelations 2 had reference to the original and director's cut of like the original PS1 versions of Resident Evil 1, where Barry said, "You almost became a Jill sandwich." They made reference to that in Resident Evil Revelations 2.
Huh.
Claire says, "I almost became a Claire sandwich," and Moira, Barry's daughter's like, "Did she tell that story to everyone?"
That's funny. I still need to play those games. Not gonna lie though, Lady Delacruz is probably my favorite. I think I said I'm just like, fuck it. I'm just gonna be myself in this. Be like, you know what? I'm not gonna lie. She's actually attractive.
You
Actually,
have joined the ranks now, Rob.
No. Here's something really funny because there's a point where I got through that segment, and I'm like, oh, it's gonna be really bad to like kill this person, and then she goes to her final form. I'm like, okay, never mind. I could actually kill her now.
I have no words.
Oh, actually, there's actually one line that was really funny that I had to comment on where she's like, because this is after you kill one of the daughters, and she's all saying, oh, it's like you put your hands on my daughter, you invade my home, and you try to steal from me. I'm like, to be fair, you guys kidnapped his daughter, so technically your guys are the one that committed that act. And two, Ethan hasn't touched your daughter. If anything, he'd shot her.
I like that. I didn't touch your daughter. I just killed her.
I did say that in the video. I'm like, technically, he didn't touch her. And if anything, going further than that, they're the ones touching him.
Thanks. Now I gotta believe in a thing called love stuck in my head.
Got what?
I believe in a thing called love stuck in my head.
Gosh.
That a song?
Yeah, look it up sometime.
Ah.
By the way, I'm playing the deluxe edition. So I got I got the weapon.
Nice.
I got the oh gosh, what the fuck is it called? The Samurai AW, which is actually a really nice handgun in that game.
Samurai Edge type weapons usually are.
And then I got my shotgun. I got my I will say
Samurai Edge AW.
AW.
You're using Weskers? Oh.
Which is the only weapon they give you.
That's rather hilarious.
Actually, what's funny too is I gotta give credit to me and MJ kind of playing the demo, because to an extent, like when you'll watch in my video, I'm like, okay, this is the segment of the demo that we played. I'm like, okay, so if I remember correctly, because there's one part where there's a few lichens that pop up, and they call them lichens, not zombies. We're like, okay, there's supposed to be 3 in this area. And I see him rustling through like some tall grass. I'm like, okay. And there's a point where I'm literally like, okay. I'm like inching back and forth, like, should I go in? Should I stay out? I see him moving around. I fire a shot, maybe draw one of them out. Nope, that doesn't work. Okay, so I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to go in and try to do my thing. I have the shotgun out, and I'm able to get a couple of them, like, immediately. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, if I'm counting, there's supposed to be 3. Sure enough, I was right. There was 3. and I need there was something else I commented on that I want to talk about in my next video that I record, probably after this, is that I'm already getting Evelyn vibes with this particular character that keeps popping up, this old lady.
Oh.
I'm just thinking, okay, I'm thinking about it right now. Like this is I joked about it in the stream, or when MJ and I were doing the fucking the demo. I joked about it, but this is my theory, and I'm still sticking with my theory. The old lady, the crazy old lady is Mother Miranda, the main villain of the game. I'm calling it right now. I haven't seen any cutscenes. I haven't watched anything else, anything involving besides that one demo. I've already gone through the castle. I'm saying as it is. The old lady is Mother Miranda.
I'm gonna laugh so freaking hard if it turns out that's just a red herring.
What
you were saying? If the old lady turns out to not be, it was just a red herring to make people think that because of how Granny Evelyn was.
Well, apparently, I don't know. I'm getting this vibe because it's a character that's popped up twice. And like thinking about it, it's the same. It was the same thing that happened with, again, as you pointed out, Granny Evelyn. Though I'm gonna be perfectly honest, them like how like near the beginning, how they riddled Mia with bullets, I kind of felt was overkill. But I feel
who
like
knows? Maybe there were some vestiges of the freaking mold or whatever the heck the name for the virus was.
Like, I mean, it was like, if you ever seen the that VR game, like, where it's like it's like a parody of Dog Hunt or Duck Hunt, where it's like the serial killer. Well, anyways, like long story short, like near the end of like one of the endings of that game, you see the killer in a dog suit running around the outside of the house. There's a police helicopter, and he is like bombarded, like riddled with bullets from the police helicopter.
Rest in peace, Zach Bear. Rest in peace.
And that's exactly what happened to me. I'm just like, that was kind of overkill. There was like, I'm just like, and to top it off, like afterwards, you have Chris who fires like a few more rounds after that. I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude. But another thing too. It's something that I'm also predicting is something else was going on there.
Mm-hmm.
Because it seems like Chris has been trying to help them, at least from what it sounds like. And right now, I'm thinking there's something going on. I mean,
probably get a Chris DLC for this game.
Well, another thing too is they make it out that, I mean, with some conversation already, we get a cutscene like Mia, like, and near the beginning of the game, Mia is all for the new lifestyle that they're in. I guess they've moved. Ethan had to go through military training, apparently. They're being protected by Chris and the whatever organization he's working under. And
Blue Umbrella.
Blue Umbrella. I think that's what it was called. Either that or BSAA.
I'd be surprised if he's still working for the BSAA.
But anyways, she's really gung-ho to, the change of lifestyle. But when we see her in this flashback, her attitude is completely different. So another thing that got me thinking is there's something else going on. And if anything, it might have been with Mia.
Mm-hmm.
So
Who knows? Maybe she was brainwashed by Miranda or whatever the heck that lady's name was. You said.
I kind of thought that. You know, and I was kind of thinking that, but something else that kind of brought it was kind of that I was thinking about, because we see at least the segments that I've gotten to go through so far. This is just my prediction, and nobody put it in the chats if you guys have seen the game yet. Don't put it in the chat. I want to be left alone to figure it out. So we see Mother Miranda twice.
Okay.
And it's like, how should I put this? Like, because
it couldn't be.
We've seen her twice. We've seen what she looks like, and it's like loosely, like immediately, or at least when it comes to a couple of times, it's been in between. We've seen the old lady. So my biggest prediction, at least right now, because apparently she has wings, like actual functioning wings. So what if this person like has the ability to change their shape and to disguise themselves, turn into the old lady? And then what if, to an extension of that, what if the Mia that we have at the beginning wasn't
Was
Mia?
really her.
Huh?
Was really her. Yeah.
Was Mother Miranda.
I was actually somewhat thinking along those lines. I just didn't know she could shapeshift. Holy shit.
That's my thinking right now. Like, that's my thought process right now. I actually was going to talk about that in my next video. Also, the disappointment that Lady De La Cruz was the first boss.
Oh, at
kinda
least
sucks.
you get to kill them, unlike the apostles in Outlast 2.
Yeah. But Ethan sucks. His ego will be. Oh no, that was the previous.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was
there hasn't been
what
any
was
comments
previously.
since then, my friend.
But
Yeah.
But I feel like there's something else going on too, because why take the baby? Why kidnap the baby? And they mentioned the fact, and just going further too, because I haven't gone far. The only experience or exposure for the game thus far has been with the demo. So hold on.
What do we know about the virus so far?
Well, we don't know anything about the virus.
Oh.
But so here's something that's interesting though. Is one, they were after the baby. And my question is, why the baby? Oh, and not only that, but apparently they chopped the baby up into little bits.
Oh.
You find a canister with the baby's head after you kill the first boss. But apparently the Duke, who apparently knows a lot about the shit that's going on, claims that you can save your daughter, that there's a way to save her. And I'm just like, wait a minute. And apparently the baby has some kind of power. So I'm thinking, okay, here's something that like kind of comes to mind as to what's going on.
Brings to mind Wesker's
why,
kid.
I guess going back to my original question, why would they want the baby? And here's my theory right now, because I think it has something to do with the mold.
Most likely.
And if that's the case, then there might be some residual mold, or at least infection, in
Maybe.
either Mia, though I have a feeling it's more so with Ethan. Because in the flashback, or at least the only flashback we've had thus far of Mia, we have a little bit of a kind of freak out from her, acting completely different than she does in the beginning of the game, where they are on the phone with the doctor asking about how the baby is doing, like getting results about the baby's health, and then she goes on to talk about how what's important is her was Ethan and them. And Ethan kind of is like, wait, it's like, do you know something? It's like, what are you hiding from me? So I'm feeling like there's something going on with Ethan that we don't know about. And if it is the mold, I'm like kind of if it is something to do with the mold, my only question is how, considering if I remember, because my biggest question is like anything involving the mold, or at least the E series, should have died when Evelyn died.
Yeah, but there could always be some vestiges of it, of her influence.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, that's at the same time though, it also kind of feels like you saying that is also saying that just because Wesker died in 5, there's no more Ouroboros.
No, but I'm saying, no, that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying because when it came to the E series, Evelyn was the source.
There were no other.
No, any other form of the E series, or at least any other experiments, as far as we know, she was the only one. She was the one that created the E. Yeah, the only semi-successful one.
Oh yeah, semi-successful because what made the E series so unusable was the fact that any hosts end up becoming aging rapidly. Yeah.
So, in that regard, she was not perfect. But again, if anything under the E series should have died. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it made no sense. Or it makes no sense if it has anything to do with the mold. But then again, we still had fucking, what's his name? The one dude, the crazy mechanic dude that was still alive somehow. Actually, no. Because if I remember correctly, somebody gave him something that that negated her influence or her control or the connection with her to some extent.
Oh, he died.
I know, but what I'm saying, he died from Chris.
Yeah.
He didn't die around the same time that Evelyn did. Because I remember somebody, if you look around at the Baker house, somebody gave him either a vaccine or antidote, which made him, I mean, to an extent, he was still connected, but wasn't under her influence.
Mm-hmm. And if memory serves, the notes mentioned a female.
But anyway,
I want to say it may have been Ada that helped him. I don't know.
Either that or Mother Miranda. Oh, that actually brings up a twist in of itself. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That just adds more questions to the whole scenario.
Well, keep an eye out for notes.
Oh, I have been. There was actually some. There was some really interesting stuff because especially with I guess with the daughter fights, where actually there was something that you find this note about blowflies, and they kind of give you a description. So they're not complete. So I'm gonna say this. So the vampire daughters aren't really vampires. They feed on just flesh itself, and I guess part of their base is blowflies. And they make a note about how apparently blowflies don't do so well in the cold. So there's like situations in 3 different rooms where you can open up a window or open up an area that will allow you to, make the room cold and make it harder for them to fight. Which I thought was kind of cool. Though, when you start having Lady Delacroix, start chasing you, that was not fun. Yeah, I'm like, there was a couple points where I got stuck, or she literally steps in front of the area I need to run through, and I'm like having to try to dodge her attacks and make sure I don't get killed. Because how tall she is, or like the fact that she like takes up so much space in the room. It's hard to like move around. But anyway, that's just my thoughts on Resident Evil so far. Though the Duke is probably one of my favorite like merchant characters at this second. Oh, and with the deluxe edition, they play when you're in a safe zone. They play Go Tell Aunt Rhody.
Really?
Yeah. I got that. I have that music playing as when you're in the save points, which I thought was kind of cool. I guess I can't think of anything else. There's one other thing that we can discuss, that being the zombie unicorn.
That's what I was trying to bring up earlier concerning Beast or Mr. Beast.
Yeah.
Couldn't remember the person's name, so thank you.
Sorry.
So to give context, zombie unicorn, apparently she had beef with this one individual who Jeff Leach.
Wrong person. My bad.
Who apparently does not like her, had said some questionable things, and unfortunately has actually now at this point they've succeeded in trying to cancel the dude's career, or at least have him removed from Activision from doing voice acting, which I'm gonna say is pretty fucked up. But what they ended up doing was they got random clips of him on stream where he says some, again, questionable jokes to trolls, and tried to use that as an excuse to claim that he was he's a sexist, even though, I mean, when it comes down to his habits, it goes against the contrary to what he says, where he's been very supportive to the LGBTQ. He's been supportive to women as well as people of color, etc. But because this person said, a few questionable things, that automatically makes him a sexist, according to people like Zombie Unicorn. And let's be fair. Again, this is the same person who wanted to shame a bunch of a few women who worked at the Bang booth or energy drink booth at a convention, claiming that they were over-sexualized or that they were sex workers or something like that. And this is the same person who paints her body on stream.
Oh wow.
So when it comes down to some of the claims from this individual claiming that this guy was a sexist, I kind of don't believe it. If anything, he's made questionable jokes, and that's it.
I'd say it's similar to like really what's like pretty much cancel culture, like where they just search up anything like you've done in the past. Like,
yeah.
Pretty much what happened to the guy that from directed Guardians of the Galaxy, in which he had pretty much ended up being fired.
Was it James?
So,
not James Gunn. It was somebody else.
I think it was James Gunn.
No.
Yeah, because apparently there was like some questionable tweets from that he made like in 2012. Like, and he ended up having to be dropped, and he got dropped by Disney because of course those questionable tweets that like people found out about him. Which again I just thought was bullcrap.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, there was someone else that like recently from like just which like I guess people were trying to cancel. However, in the end, he didn't like really stand for it and stood his ground. I don't know who, and I can't remember what the situation was about. Because a lot of this really happened on Twitter, and I can't remember who or what it was.
Mm-hmm. I think I know who you're talking about, and this is the one I've been trying to remember the name of.
Yeah. I will say, like, I do kind of agree with what, like, honestly, with what he said, like, and the fact that, like, cancel culture, it just being, like, I'd say sometimes just bull, like, in some sense. Because, like, with what he did, I'd say, like, it might have to do with something he did years ago. I can't remember what, and I'm trying to remember. I think this might have been, like, a week ago, I think. Although, again, can't remember.
Yeah, I mean, above all, it's just a shitty situation. You got to be, at this point, got to be careful.
Yep.
With what you say or do.
Well, I'd say just be careful on the internet in general. Like, never click on shady links. Well, that's a whole other topic in and of itself.
Like, you can't. I mean, lucky for us, and with more likely because of how small the channel is, we can't. If we were much larger, we couldn't talk about shitty people.
Yeah.
I feel like if we probably did get larger, people will probably still try to find some dirt on us, like whether it be like something I don't know we did, like I don't know, like maybe just out of school or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
You were jaywalking across the street. What is wrong with you?
Yeah. That's dumb.
Yeah.
That's called reaching, which is exactly what these people did.
Yeah, honestly, when they see like this, sorry.
I was gonna say that's exactly what these people did to ruin this guy's career.
Yeah. I'll say when they say Twitter's toxic, when people say that Twitter's toxic, I feel like they're definitely not wrong about that. Because I feel like half the time, like where a lot of these things like come out, where like you said this like 10 plus years ago, you need to own up to it. I'm like, Jesus.
You know what, that actually reminds me of a situation where about several years ago, a guy was trying to promote a game that he was making through Microsoft, and I think it was Zoe Quinn who tried to shut this guy down by discussing how this guy was not for feminism and shamed him for being an egalitarian. Now, for those who don't know, egalitarian means equal right, like somebody who believes in equal rights for everybody, that everybody should be treated equally.
Yeah.
Whereas feminism is more focused on the equality. I mean, nowadays,
On
the
women's
equality
rights.
or more privilege for women.
I will say that honestly, like feminism in the West is not like even needed. Like I mean, and also like that's not like even the definition of what feminism is by the dictionary. It's like not even what feminism has even become like now, at least here in the West. Like it's honestly like really just become like really like just screaming that somehow males have privilege when really I'd say not really much of it.
Yeah.
If anything, I'd argue on the contrary, when it's like very easy for a woman to basically just make up a story of like saying she got raped by anybody. That or like pretty much like if a woman of course is like beating up a man, like and if the man fights back, the police are gonna go for the guy first.
Yep.
It's been like that for since at least the 90s, though.
You know,
At
Yep.
least.
that kind of reminded me of a story that I saw on Reddit, where a guy was going into a game store. I'm assuming a GameStop. He went with his buddy, and he was going to buy a PS4 Pro, an Xbox One X, several games for both consoles, and buy a game for his friend. You have this woman who shows up in the store, notices what the guy was getting, and tries to bribe the guy, or at least demand that the guy buy a game for her kids. When he says no, I'm just paraphrasing what was written down.
Okay.
She then tells the kids to beg the man for the games, or at least to pay for their games. By which
What the hell?
he flat out tells her, you shouldn't be telling your kids to beg other random strangers for games,
Mhm.
and made the unfortunate action to try to push the kid away, where she then tries to claim that he was trying to touch her kids.
Oh my god.
Oh my
And
god.
this is
Those are
around,
the worst.
and staff wasn't around to witness this or witness the whole thing. And when staff finally shows up, she gives this outlandish story how he was trying to bribe her with video games to touch her kids, and
The
so
hell?
on. It gets to the point where police are called, and then immediately, instead of actually getting a statement from the individual or the guy, they immediately just go for the woman's story and put him in handcuffs. But luckily for him, mentions the fact that there are cameras in the store and that they need to check the cameras.
At that point,
Yeah.
I would say anyone really mentioned pretty much like the contact, like to contact your lawyer at that point, since
And at that point, they go back, check the cameras. Actually, as it was described in the story, the woman was kind of like was not for that. Same claiming that she wasn't going to press charges, but they kind of had her stay till they checked the cameras. And after checking the cameras, they take the cuffs off and ask her why she was trying to ruin this guy's life by making a false allegation. And she claimed that because the guy doesn't need the games, that he should get it for my kids. And it's like,
Fuck.
well, I guess as it was described in the story too, if she wouldn't have done this, she probably would have gotten away, not have been carded by the police, because apparently it turns out that lady also had a warrant for her arrest.
Oof.
oh crap.
And to add insult to injury, the guy who almost got carded by the police,
Countersued.
well, not just that, but he
Also,
asked for a copy of the tape so he can call the corporate office. And I guess the employees who were of that branch of that video game store were shut down.
Oh,
Jesus. At that point,
So-
yeah, I'd honestly countersue at that point, since it's like, the hell, like, you're supposed to be police, like, honestly, like, no investigation, no nothing, you just take the woman's clothes. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
This
Well, it
one-
doesn't help
before
too.
you went further into the story, I was initially thinking they may have put him in handcuffs and was gonna get him off the premises just to try and appease the woman and try and make it seem like they were gonna arrest him just to keep things from
No.
getting out of hand with the woman, because it sounds like she was being quite the Karen.
Yeah.
That's why they say always keep your cameras on. Well, at least keep your cameras on if you have someone like this. Because fuck that.
That's always the way to do it nowadays.
It's honestly generally, like, honestly just making me like
Heck,
angry.
and apparently, actually, speaking of that, since we were talking about zombie kills, I guess there was a situation where her roommate, she got in trouble with her roommate because apparently
she gets beat.
where apparently the roommate in his own area or living quarters had a camera in his storage cabinet. And I guess she was going through it, and when she saw the camera, she claimed that he was a creeper for having a camera in in his storage cabinet. But it's like, well, why do you think? Here's the question: like, why are you going through the storage cabinet to begin with? I mean, there's probably a reason why he put a quick camera in there. You know what I mean?
Catch anyone going through his stuff without permission.
Yep.
Yep. It's like asking, why do you have a trap course like set? So to keep people like you away. But yeah, honestly, that story that genuinely like makes me angry. Like, Jesus.
Yeah.
I don't wish harm on them, that's for sure. It's just they need a reality check, that's for sure.
Well,
They need
it's
to
like,
be humble.
yeah, because some of these people, I mean, they think, especially in cases like that, I mean, they think that because they're a woman, they think that their story is immediately going to be the one that's gonna be the one heard,
I
and the only one heard.
I'll say I don't wish her harm. However, I will say if like they harmed you, I will say I honestly can't help but like maybe crack somewhat of a smile. Like, I don't wish harm, but like I don't care if it comes to you.
I think bottom line, what they did was really fucked up.
Yeah. Like,
And it was unjustified.
Yeah.
all just for a fucking game. Like, Jesus. Like,
I mean, him telling her no.
it's not even like, honestly, great example also to really separate your children. By the way.
And that's
Jesus.
and that's usually the case too, especially with a lot of Karens. They don't know that no means no, and just because you want it doesn't mean it's yours.
I do remember one video that like Repsion made where like this one woman apparently like she was grabbing her like dog. I don't know if apparently it's not her dog. I don't know what the case is, but she was grabbing a dog like, of course, like by the collar, like on like her neck. So like it was like the dog was being held up by the collar, and it was actually like strangling the dog. Like, and you could hear him, of course, like basically like trying to like get her like to like a dog like pretty much like spastically moving to try to like also, or like turning around to like try to like breathe, and the dog actually like even whimpered as like he like tangled himself up and like fell. Yeah, it was honestly pretty. It was like very difficult for me to watch, and like I got pretty angry with that.
Yeah.
If I'm right, the woman ended up like losing the dog in some way. I don't even know like if that's true, because that was like all in the comment section, so there was no way to really verify the story.
People like that treat their animals poorly should not have animals to begin with.
Yeah.
Heck, if anything, shouldn't even have kids.
Yeah. And all of this was like really just because apparently this guy like was just recording her. He was like apparently then I'm calling the cops and saying that an African American man is threatening me, which I'm like, the hell, Jesus, racist, and also the fact that she even abuses her animal.
Yeah.
Like, that's you're genuine scum.
Yeah, it's shit.
Yeah.
Oh man.
You holding up okay there, Rod?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna call it.
All right.
All right.
All right.
We've been streaming for almost 2 hours.
Yep.
We actually talked about a lot within the 2 hours.
Yep.
For some of it brief, but it's been all right.
Yeah, it's been all right. Just a chill, I'd say, more relaxed stream.
Yep. All right.
Sure.
So thank you guys so much for watching. Really appreciate it. If you guys can, please leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. Hopefully you guys enjoy the stream. If you guys can, if you guys want to follow us on social media, links are in the description down below. Like there, I already said that. If you guys want to follow us on our, if you guys want to follow our content, follow our daily content as well as the weekly podcast. With that being said, this is Rob, Aden, and Vegan signing off. Have a good one and take care. Peace.
Goodbye.
See ya.